Take from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out over Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
How you doing, Darren?
Doing all right. The summer is winding down. We're in the August months. And I can tell you, my love for you will still be strong.
Wow.
After the boys of summer are gone.
I thought it was have gone.
Have gone?
Is it are gone or have?
You're
going to make me look up Don Henley lyrics 30 seconds into the podcast?
Yes, do it.
That's what we're doing?
Do it. All she wants to do is dance. Do it.
No.
All right, but yeah.
No.
All right, but yeah. I mean, we are winding down the summer months. It's like it went by pretty quickly, like
amazingly quickly,
just like a bat out of hell.
Yeah,
holy Toledo.
Yeah, we blew through like 11 movies in. Let me just check.
Okay,
11 weeks.
Wow.
Yes. I don't know how exactly that math works out, but
it works out.
Let me see.
Divide by 2, carry the 1.
One movie a week. We have been doing.
All right. Well, I mean,
so
numbers don't lie. I can't fight that.
No, I just did. Okay, we have unpaused the recording. I'm not sure exactly where that cut off when I was doing the jokey thing. So I think just to be safe, I think we should start over.
All right. Again, apologies, Frank, for all this.
How are we this sloppy and not drinking right now?
I don't know.
I didn't have anything to drink last night.
I didn't have anything to drink.
I had Cokes and water.
I had something to drink last morning, but not last night.
I had a lot on Friday.
I had a lot hour ago, but that's it.
Yeah.
I haven't drunk since.
Like communion wine?
No.
Oh, no.
Just
day drinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
you have a problem.
Yeah, who are you, the judge?
We're doing this again because I fucked up the beginning of this recording.
Yeah,
and
you won't. It'll be seamless when it edits.
We had a little banter. We were enjoying the banter. I did a thing and I accidentally paused the recording, and it took me I don't know how long to realize I'd paused the recording. But I was like, oh shit, I paused the recording, and we should probably, just to be safe, start re-recording.
Yeah, computers are tricky, people. They're tricky beasts. They're like, there's keys and buttons and lights.
Yeah, and apparently, I did not know this, computers do things when you randomly hit keys to make an audio gag for your podcast.
Who knew that? This is how we learn.
That can, like, you just banging on a keyboard going... that can screw up the processes you have running on your computer.
They should teach you that in the schools, or at least put like some warning sticker on computers.
Yes, there really should be some sort of warning. We put them on cigarette packets. Why don't we do this?
Why don't we? People could be banging their keyboards all the live long day, not knowing that affects the computer somehow.
Yeah. I think when we get right down to it, I don't have much technical know-how. But you know who does have some technical know-how?
Ooh, now that's a segue.
That's a transition right there.
There you go.
That is a transition. I am the MacGruber of transitions.
There you are. Yeah.
Our hero, MacGruber.
MacGruber!
Making life-saving inventions out of household materials. MacGruber!
Got the fucking
genius. MacGruber!
And that's the movie we're reviewing. MacGruber came out May 21st, 2010.
Yes.
Written by Will Forte, Jorma Taccone from
Lonely
Island fame, and John Solomon, who was I believe was SNL writer, and he went on to write Last Man on Earth with Will Forte, and directed by Jorma Taccone. This is his first time directing. And this movie came out like 9 years ago. Had a budget of $10 million, which is actually pretty low. Compared to the other movies.
That is very low, yes.
And it didn't even make that back. It made like around $8 million.
Yeah, $8,525,600.
Yeah, this was I remember when this movie came out, and it was like a huge, huge bomb. I think it opened at number 4.
Yes, I have a little information on this at the IMDb trivia page. Let me see. Let me scroll down a little bit.
But yeah, while you look for that, we can talk about the sketches it's based off of. So, I mean, for those that don't know, MacGruber is based off of the 80s action TV show MacGyver.
Yes.
I'm sure the older folks know that, but the millennials are like, what's MacGyver?
Right.
And it was basically this TV show with Richard Dean Anderson. He played like this sort of secret agent, who was hired by this.
He worked for the Phoenix Foundation, as I recall.
Yes, a fictional, government agency.
Yes.
And his whole thing was he didn't use guns. He was like
refused to use guns.
Yeah, because I think from what I read, like something happened when he was a kid and one of his best friends got killed. So since
he had some sort of childhood trauma in like the later seasons. I was not watching MacGyver any longer by that point.
So you were a MacGyver fan?
I was early on the MacGyver train because it premiered like 87, 88 when I was like 15, 16, something like that.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He uses science to defeat the bad guys because he'd always like put two components together and make something that could blow him out of the bank vault he was trapped in or something.
Yeah, he used like rubber bands and like peanut butter and something and make like a crossbow.
Right,
whatever.
Right.
Something like that.
I mean, he always got very creative. Like you remember when the A-Team would get locked into a storeroom and then the bad guys would be like, we'll kill you in a couple of hours because we've got a thing to do right now.
We got a thing, but we'll be right back to kill you.
We've got a quesadilla to get to. Quesadilla. I knew I was going to mispronounce that.
Oh, cultural appropriation.
Yeah, I should have said bar mitzvah because I can pronounce bar mitzvah.
Oh, l'chaim.
But I'm screwing up right and left.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so then the A-Team would build something really cool.
Yeah.
And then they would use that to bust out of the shed and defeat the bad guys. My point is, it would be really cool if MacGyver joined the A-Team.
Oh my God. And then like Knight Rider could come by and he like help them out too, and then like the Dukes of Hazzard can come by with their racist car with the General Lee.
Yeah.
There it is. And then they all could fight crime and stuff.
Yes,
that'd be pretty sweet.
Yes.
Oh wow.
I watched a TV special a little while ago where they had the A-Team van racing against the Knight Rider Trans Am, and what was the third car? I watched this less than a month ago, and I thought, the third thing was the Chips motorcycle.
Oh,
and they got Eric Estrada to race the Chips motorcycle. David Hasselhoff to race the Knight Rider car.
Oh, nice.
And they got Dirk Benedict to race the A-Team van.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I mean, I imagine Knight Rider would win out of all those, right?
They did like, I think it was like best out of 3 races, and the results were varied. And
yeah, but like Kit has the turbo boost. You could just jump over everybody like that. I'm just thinking the van is too slow and clunky. An interesting thing I found out over the course of this special. The turbo boost, not a real thing. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. I don't. Well, thanks for shattering my childhood, John Trumbull.
Do not talk with William Daniels' voice unless, like, you have that GPS program.
What?
Yeah.
Thanks for killing my childhood, there, fella.
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
I suppose you tell me like it's not possible for me to drive the Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters now. Like that's my dream. If I can drive that car one of these days.
I mean, it is possible if you go to like a comic convention that is displaying it and you find some way to steal that vehicle. I think you could fulfill your childhood dream. So you would probably be busted by the police shortly after.
So you're saying I have a chance.
And this sort of busting would not make you feel good.
Not damn, you're good. As you confidently take a sip of water. Well done, sir. All right, so so MacGruber, back to MacGruber. Yeah, so this movie with the bomb. For some, I did see this in the theater, but I didn't see it when it originally came out. I don't know why I didn't see it in its first.
So you saw it in like a revival theater, or something, or a second run?
Yeah, second. It was a second run because I remember this movie did so badly. It only stayed in theaters for like 3 weeks, and then it kind of got pulled.
Yeah, it's according to IMDb, it suffered one of the biggest theatrical fall-offs in recent cinema history when it dropped from 2,546 cinemas to only 177 in the U.S. in just 3 weeks.
God damn.
That is a drop-off.
That is a drop-off.
So it grossed just shy of its $10 million budget. Parade listed it as the second biggest box office flop of 2010.
It's a bummer because like I did see this like in the second run. It was in this little movie theater in Douglaston, New York, like right on the border of Queens and Long Island. And like I think I wasn't. I didn't have anything to do that night, and I was like, oh, let me go watch this. And it was one of those, kind of old rundown theater that has like $5 Tuesdays, where it's like movies like $5 or something.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I liked it very much. I was like, wow, this is. I should have seen it, and I fucked up.
You have been talking this movie up to me for a couple months now. We were like, we knew when we started this project of our SNL summer movie marathon.
Right.
that there were going to be some rough films to watch, but you were like, but MacGruber is really good. MacGruber is good. You were talking up MacGruber.
I was very nervous about like how because you never seen MacGruber, so I was very
not all the way through. I'd seen bits of it.
Okay, but I was very nervous. Like, if he doesn't like MacGruber, this might be the end of our friendship and the podcast. So I was like, this whole time I was like, I hope he likes MacGruber. Hope he likes MacGruber. So what do you think of MacGruber?
I liked MacGruber.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. All right.
Friendship continues.
Yay.
Podcast is back on.
We're back on, baby. The boys are back in town.
That was suspenseful.
Yeah. Oof.
That was suspenseful.
But
should we talk about I think we should talk a little about the SNL sketch.
Yeah.
Because
what did you think of the sketches when they came out?
I enjoyed the sketches.
I did too.
It was a tough sketch to ever get sick of, I thought.
Yeah.
Because it was such a short thing. It was only like 30 seconds to a minute and a half.
Right.
And it was always MacGruber trapped in a control room.
Right.
And it was no matter where he was, they were in a control room. They could be in an abandoned cave, and the cave would have a control room.
There would be a sign that's quickly said "Cave Control Room."
Right. The only thing they changed on that set was the sign.
Right.
And so you're always in this brick bunker thing with generic looking controls and an alarm going off and whoop, 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 and they were always like 15 minutes away from detonation.
Right.
And MacGruber would say, "All right, hand me that thing over there."
It's like, you got it, Groove.
Yeah. Give me that water bottle. All right.
Coming at you, Groove.
And MacGruber would get distracted by something.
Right.
And then they would explode.
And that would be it.
And then it would just, MacGruber!
And that would be it.
Yeah.
And then usually throughout the show, they would have like another MacGruber sketch that would be like connected to the first MacGruber sketch.
Right, yeah.
It would be like a running sketch.
I looked up on Wikipedia. They have a list. There is an entry for the MacGruber character and the MacGruber movie. And they have on the MacGruber character, I believe it's a list of all the MacGruber sketches that they did.
Ooh.
And because they usually did it like 3 a night, the total number of sketches or the total number of episodes he was featured in is 30.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, it was a quick, easy thing to do.
Right.
A very comfortable thing.
Yeah.
I found a little...
There's a pre-tape, of course. There's like in the...
Yes. Yeah, it was
like
a filmed thing.
Yeah, I think it was headed up by the Lonely Island guys for the most part. Was it? Or?
Well, I mean, Jorma Taccone was one of the writers on it.
Okay.
I have a little from the Live from New York book by... James Andrew Miller and Tom Shales.
The Bible,
the big oral history of SNL.
You said oral.
We have. I hope that we have ticked these guys' sales up at least a little bit. I hope that we have raised enough curiosity about this book for some people to check it out on Amazon or whatever. But okay, so Will Forte says. Jorma Taccone was the person with the original idea for MacGruber. He kept pitching it to us. John Solomon and I were the other 2 people involved. We thought it sounded like a pretty dumb idea. We kept saying, no, let's do something else. Here's Jorma. From the moment I pitched MacGruber at the show to the moment that the movie was coming out was such an insane experience for me. My original pitch was for the Lance Armstrong show, where I pitched that Lance Armstrong would play MacGyver's stepbrother MacGruber, which makes no sense at all.
Okay. Why would he have a different name?
Well, stepbrother.
Oh, of course. I apologize. Yes, that makes sense.
Who diffuses bombs by only using pieces of shit and pubic hair. So anytime he asks one of his assistants for something he needs, no one wants to touch anything.
I mean,
that was the original pitch. I was terrible at pitching, and it went over really badly.
Really? Poop and pubic hair doesn't go over well?
I love this. I love this. But apparently he kept after Will Forte about it.
Okay.
And he was like, so instead of Lance Armstrong playing MacGruber, he was like, yeah, you, Will Forte, should play MacGruber. Here's Will Forte. He said, all Jorma would say was, I have this idea about this character called MacGruber. He's MacGyver's less talented brother. But that was it. You're thinking of sketch ideas. You're not thinking of short film ideas. So I wasn't really into it because it didn't make sense to me as a sketch. MacGyver had been off for so long, but it wasn't even that. I just wasn't sure. But he was so persistent and kept bringing it up all the time that kind of, to get him to shut up, we all decided, well, let's take a crack at it. Jorma is a really funny and smart person, so we thought there was probably something we could find in there. And it's not a crazy idea, but then once we came up with the idea of doing it as a little short and having it in very short, digestible film chunks, we had a lot of fun. Never did we think that it would be anything more than a one-time little short film. So we were pleasantly surprised when people seemed to like the first one, but we didn't think, oh, we've got to do a second one after this. After a couple weeks, we thought, well, let's try a second one. As usual, it was born out of not having any other ideas.
All right.
A lot of times, it's really fun to take a character and explore it on a deeper level. It's one of the most wonderful things about the show, and also one of the tough things. And
interesting.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things where they had to be talked into. It seemed like all Jorma's brainchild.
Yes.
I mean, and it does work in short bursts. Like, I don't know if, like, they did like a long, 2-3 minute sketch, how well it would fare. But like the fact that it's just
a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean come on, that's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I mean the fact that I think that's probably one of the more funnier things about the sketch, where it's like it just ends so abruptly, which is a big explosion, and that's like you get the big laugh.
And I've traditionally enjoyed the SNL sketches that are just very short, very abrupt. They just get in, they get out, they do.
Like Dem Trumps with Keenan.
That's a good one. Also, Astronaut Jones. Tracy Morgan. That's still one of my favorite ever things from the show.
With that fat ass.
Yeah, so I think there's something to be said for that, for just having like one really killer gag and then just abruptly ending.
Yeah, I mean, I think the funny when in the MacGruber sketch, it's usually the explosion happens when he's mid-sentence, when he's about and it's just while he's talking, boom, and that always gets me. So just based on that, they were able to make this movie, and we both liked it.
We did. We did.
All right. Do you want to read the description of it?
Well, why don't you read? I read a lot from the book, so why don't you read the description?
Why don't I? All right. Only one operative has been awarded 16 Purple Hearts, and only one guy is man enough to still sport a mullet. In the 10 years since his fiancée was killed, Special Ops MacGruber, Will Forte, has sworn off a life of fighting crime with his bare hands. But when he learns his country needs him to find a nuclear warhead that's been stolen by his sworn enemy, Dieter von Kunth, Val Kilmer, MacGruber teams up with his trusty sidekick, SNL breakout star Kristen Wiig, and uptight Lieutenant Ryan Phillippe to get the job done. The trio sets out on a rampage of utter destruction in this action comedy that's so over the top, it makes The Hangover looks like beaches. Mike Sampson from JoeBlow.com.
The Hangover look like beaches.
That's what that's. I mean, he's not wrong.
It's an interesting comparison there.
This movie's pretty. This movie swings for the fences, comedy-wise. Like, I think with all the other movies we watched, a lot of them have the thing where we just think they're okay. Like they're pretty like pedestrian. This movie, comedy wise, takes a lot of chances. You got to admit
it goes big.
It goes big. All right, so let's get with the description. So the movie starts out with them in Siberia.
Yeah. Do you want to try and pronounce that mountain range?
Siberia. No, I just wrote Siberia. It's like I'm not even gonna attempt to write that. Yeah. And there's this Russian convoy that has a warhead, and the warhead gets stolen by Dieter von Kunth.
Kunth.
C-U-N-T-H. Yeah. And if you don't think that name is going to come into play in jokes later on, you're sorely mistaken.
Yes.
And that's played by Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, who is... he has an association with like 80s movies that this movie is largely parodying. I mean, he was in Top Gun, of course. He was in Real Genius. He was in Top Secret.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So he's not a stranger to goofy comedy.
Yeah, he's not.
Real Genius and Top Secret.
Yeah, I mean, Top Secret is so underrated, guys. Yeah. If you get a chance, go rent Top Secret. It is like. Why is no one why aren't more people talking about Top Secret? It's like another parody movie, like of spies, and this is a parody movie too in a way. Like I thought this movie was like a mix of like the old kind of like Airplane, Top Secret, Naked Gun movies with mixed in with some Lonely Island vibes too. So this movie has that. So anyway, the movie begins, and when the movie begins, it's like. Very much, it's not funny at all. It's like a straight up action movie,
and they make it look like a real life 80s action movie too. This is, I would say, it is by far the best looking of the movies that we have reviewed.
Very much so.
And I want to give. I just looked him up on IMDb. I want to give a special shout out to the cinematographer Brandon Troust.
Ooh,
Troust. he did a really nice job. I mean, especially when considering it's a $10 million movie, he made it look like this expensive blockbuster. He got all those lighting tricks and stuff.
It looked like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was good. But it's like a Michael Bay movie, but good.
I mean, it looks like a much more expensive movie than it was.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I was like, only 10 mil? I was shocked. Like,
yeah.
The Ladies Man was like 30-something or whatever it was, and it looks pretty cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, no offense to Meadows.
But I mean, they get all the lighting and they do all the Jerry Bruckheimer, Michael Bay type tricks.
Very Bruckheimer-y.
Yeah, and I listened to the commentary on this, and they were saying that they always try to have like smoke on any sort of indoor shot, so it was always the sunlight going through the smoke.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah,
to have like make it John Woo have like doves flying every once in a while. That's good too.
Yeah.
All right, so it's the first few minutes. It's just a straight up action movie. It's not funny at all. It's not played for laughs. It's Dieter von Kuntz murdering all these people in this Russian convoy and stealing their warhead.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Ecuador, where Colonel Faith, James Faith, played by Powers Booth, and Lieutenant Dixon Piper, played by Ryan Phillippe, go to find MacGruber, who was left for dead a number of years ago, and he's been hiding out in Ecuador.
Was he left for dead? I thought he faked his death.
Oh, right, he faked it. I forget.
Yeah,
I get it
because we find out. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. We find out that MacGruber's beloved wife Casey,
yes, played by Maya Rudolph,
Maya Rudolph, died like in the middle of their wedding ceremony.
Yeah, she was killed by Kunt.
Yes. Yes. She there was a big explosion behind them.
Right.
We see them, they're getting married, it's the happiest day of their lives, and then they cut to Kristen Wiig's character in the audience.
Kristen Wiig played Vicky San Elmo, who's best friends with Casey.
Yeah.
Played by Maya Rudolph, and she's covered in her blood at that point.
Yes. And you just see the blood spatter on her.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting because they both played MacGruber's sidekicks in the sketch.
That's right. Hey,
because Maya Rudolph was originally MacGruber's sidekick Casey, and then because Maya Rudolph left the show, Kristen Wiig took over.
Oh, all right.
So this actually explains the continuity of the sketches
in the MacGruber universe.
Yes, in the MacGruberverse.
Whoa.
Yes. The MacGruber cinematic universe.
Nice. All right, so it's Colonel Faith and Piper. They go find MacGruber. They say they need him to, get the warhead back. They say, of course, MacGruber's like, no, I'm a man of peace now.
And it's very much like the beginning of a Rambo movie.
Very much
where
so.
Richard Crenna is like, I got to go get Rambo to do this thing that only Rambo can do with all his Ramboing.
Ramboness.
Yes.
Rambosity.
I need the full Ramboness. I need him to just Rambo up.
Oh, that's
Rambo right up that.
That sounds naughty.
That whole thing, that whole area, just
all
needs to be
all right,
Rambo.
Put that fist away. What are you doing? Good gravy. But yeah, so like MacGruber has like long hair now, and he's a man of peace. He's not about fighting anymore. And they have this this one line that they repeat twice where he says like he's out of the game. I was like, and everybody said, no, the game has changed, but the players are the same.
Yes, yes.
That is a funny line.
And Ryan Philippe's character gives MacGruber's credentials at one point.
Oh, right.
And I was so impressed by this, I had to write this down. He's a former Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, and Green Beret. He served 6 tours in Desert Storm, 4 in Bosnia, 3 each in Angola, Somalia, Mozambique, Nicaragua, and Sierra Leone. Recipient of 16 Purple Hearts, 3 Congressional Medals of Honor, 7 Presidential Medals of Bravery, and starting tight end for the University of Texas, El Paso. So
brave.
I love that because that was just a nice parody of, because usually like movie or TV characters, they have very inflated resumes that make them sound impressive. And usually it's like the person is far too young to have accomplished all those things. If you like add up all the years, it's like,
hey, wait a minute.
Well, it takes this many years to go through the Naval Academy, and you don't attain this rank until you're. Yeah, so if you ever try to do the math on that, it's like,
oh, wait a minute.
This person would have to be like 65 to have accomplished all those things, and they are 30.
Yeah, he's that good.
Yeah, he's that good.
Yeah. So, of course,
he's the best.
MacGruber said, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't my game anymore. I'm a man of peace. And, of course, Faith says, this is Kunt. He's the man who killed her wife, and he still doesn't want to do it. But then he has the nightmare, and then they go into the flashback showing that cunt killed his wife.
Right.
He wakes up from the nightmare, and then he realizes what he must do.
Right.
Then he goes to the cemetery where his wife's buried, but next to where his wife's buried is
there's a headstone for MacGruber.
Yeah, and he digs it up like John Wick style.
Yes.
He pulls out a coffin and it's his old clothes,
all neatly folded out.
Yes.
In there, like basically in the shape of a person.
Exactly, and then he of course it's pouring rain, and he gets dressed in the rain.
Yeah.
Strapped up and ready for war.
Right.
And he screams like a primal scream.
It's like a banshee in the night.
Like Will Forte does this thing where his face is really funny when it screams, and like he has his eyes get really wide and his mouth gets like wider, and like I don't know, like the veins in his neck pop out, and he just looks like a madman when he screams, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then he goes to he screams in the rain, and he goes to DC and he says, "I'm in." And then they
this was one of my favorite gags in the movie. He goes to the Pentagon. You see him bursting into a room, and he just swings open the doors and goes, "I'm in." And then they cut to just two guys sitting in the cafeteria, and they're like, "What?" And then they cut to him going into the main room where the general and all the military people are, and then he goes, "I'm in," and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, it's a good scene.
That was a good gag.
It's hilarious. So, and of course, it's like, all right, it's time to pound some cunt.
Pound some cunt.
They say that more than
cunt. They don't emphasize the H quite as much as we are.
Yeah.
It's time to pound some cunt.
It's a soft H.
And apparently that originated, I think it was, they talked about this during the commentary. Will Forte, I think he signed into like a guest book with that name.
Oh.
With the last name Kunth. And Yorma apparently added the Vaughn.
Of course.
But they always just call him Kunth. Wouldn't his full last name be Von Kunth?
Yeah, Von Kunth.
You don't just omit the Von.
No,
though, do
you need
when
the
you
Von.
have a Von in your last name.
You keep that Von.
Yeah.
You hold it close to your heart.
Right.
All right. But so Colonel Faith lets him in on what they know so far, and so they know that Kunth or Von Kunth, he needs the passcodes in order to operate the warhead he stole. And
it was the X5.
X5, yes.
The X5.
And so he also has a team of mercenaries working with him.
Yeah.
So MacGruber says he needs to put together his own team.
Right.
Colonel Faith says, you should take Piper. He's the best we got. He's good. And, of course, they had that scene where...
He's not going to work with him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to work with him. He doesn't know him.
Yeah, exactly. It's another action movie trope where they, there's, tension between, the two good guys. What do you? Oh, you're like some new rookie out of the academy. You think your shit don't stink?
He's not one of his guys. I mean, it's he's very serious and he's very by the book and and there's conflict there.
Yeah, like he headbutts him.
Yeah, and gives him a bloody nose, breaks his nose.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, you think you're out the academy, some hot shot who thinks his shit don't stink?"
He's wearing one of those little butterfly bandage thingies over his nose.
Well, your shit does stink. It stinks like shit.
But but because it's Ryan Philippe, he's still handsome as hell.
Exactly, he's a handsome man.
Yeah.
So anyway, then MacGruber goes off to form his team, and he finds his old car, the old Miata, and then of course, there's this hard rock music playing in the background. It's like some old Black Keys song, and of course, when he gets into his car, the sleek car, he puts in the car stereo, which is another thing that comes out throughout the movie.
Yeah,
he has a detachable car stereo, which was a thing in the 80s.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
This movie was made in 2010.
Yes. But I mean much like The Ladies' Man, he's stuck in his era.
Right.
Where that was a thing. Apparently in the 80s, people stealing car stereos was a huge thing. So for the millennials out there, they had a thing where you would take out the entire car stereo,
right?
And it had a handle, and you just carry the car stereo with you,
right?
And I remember my dad had it,
and that eventually evolved into you just took out the front,
right?
You took off the front of the stereo, and you couldn't, I think, remove the stereo without that. Front, or it was useless without that front.
Yeah, the faceplate.
Yeah, the faceplate.
Yeah, but he has the old car stereo, the blot punk.
Yeah, this is going back so far that during the commentary. Jorma Taccone was saying, I don't remember that. I remember taking the front off, and
I remember
Will Forte was like, no, this evolved into that.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember that. So as he puts in his car stereo, the Blot Punk, he of course switches it to the soft rock station, and he peels out to Rosanna by Toto, which I, as a soft rock connoisseur, I appreciate.
You're a soft rock aficionado.
The soundtrack on this album, on this movie, it's it hits
Do you
my
own
heart.
the soundtrack for this movie?
I do.
Okay.
Actually, I don't, because I have a lot of the songs on other CDs.
You could construct a playlist.
Easily
of the songs from this movie.
I have all these songs at my disposal.
Right.
So
Okay.
Believe you me.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he goes to the first guy who wants to be on his team, his old friend Frank, who is played by Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho, the WWE wrestler.
The wrestler.
He gathers a bunch of people for his team, and they are all played by WWE wrestlers.
Yeah.
I got a list here.
Okay.
We got Dalip Singh, who was the Great Khali.
Right.
Glenn Jacobs, who was Kane. Paul White. It's spelled like right, but without the R. He was the Big Show. Mark Henry, Chris Jericho, and Antonio Burke Jr., who was MVP.
Nice.
So that was our
that
was our little wrestling segment.
Yeah.
That was for you, Kevin Garifo.
Yeah, I thought about him too when I saw that.
Shining Wizards podcast. Check it out.
Check it out. So, but there was one they had this exchange with MacGruber and Frank, Chris Jericho, that I liked, where like he went to the gym where Frank was working out, and he's like, "Hey, MacGruber, how's it going, man?"
Right.
And then it's like, "Oh yeah, it looks like you've been keeping your body pretty tight." And it's like, "Oh, you look good yourself." And then MacGruber is like, "Well, every day's a workout when you got to carry on a 20-pound python in your jeans." And Frank is like, "Oh, you and your dick comments." And MacGruber is like, "It's fun to say them. It's fun to hear them. That's why I say them. That's why I listen." I don't know why that little exchange tickled me so.
You just enjoy two men talking about their large penises.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
How are you going to spend your weekend?
You don't have to sell it to me.
Yeah. So of course he goes to there's this whole montage of him going to all his WWE wrestler friends. Mm-hmm. There was this one kind of homophobic moment too, where
that moment rates a little problematic, though. That joke, even in this is only 9 years since this movie came out. That joke is not age great.
Yeah, no, it has not.
It is a gay panic joke. It is a
very
straight up gay panic joke where. Because like as he's gathering these people, they cut to a list, and he's like checking off the names as he gets each person to agree.
Right.
And then one of the wrestlers, which one was
the Big
it?
Show.
The Big Show. He's working as a mechanic, and then another mechanic comes over and brings him a lemonade, and then they share a kiss.
Yeah, and then MacGruber's like, "Oh yeah,
yeah," and then it cuts to him scribbling his name out,
scribbling his name,
scribbling back and forth, like so. It is just straight up, he is gay, so he cannot be on the team because that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other thing MacGruber does. Well, we'll talk about that, where it's like, whoa, all right, interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the last person he goes to is Vicky St. Elmo, played by Kristen Wiig. Mm-hmm. Of course, she's surprised to see him. It's like, oh, MacGruber, I thought you were dead.
And she's
so
off.
Did I.
She's
but
off
I'm not.
In the suburbs. She's now devoting her life to her music.
Yes. And it's like a lot of like 80s soft rocky.
It is not good music.
It is not good music.
It is not. I mean, it is intentionally bad music.
Yes, absolutely.
But it is.
We're not saying she's like Taylor Dane or nothing, but it's bad.
Just shots fired at Taylor Dane.
No, she's
just
great.
Randomly.
I'm saying she's good.
Oh, okay. So not as good as Taylor Dane.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought you were saying she was not as bad as Taylor Dane.
No. Taylor Dane's great.
Okay.
Tell it to my heart. Tell me I'm the only one. Is it? All right. So I'm sorry. I got lost in a Taylor Dane moment.
Yeah. No, I noticed.
Yeah. So he asks Vicky to be on the team. She says no. She just dedicated to her music.
Right.
And, he understands. It's like, well, if you ever need me, like, you can find me here. And she gives her a note, and he walks away. It's a very tender moment. And then Vicky reads the note, and it says like, "I'm at the Pentagon."
Misspelled
in a child handwriting, like a 2-year-old.
And it's like this crumply piece of paper, like you used to use to pass notes in class, before we had cell phones and texting.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, hey, can MacGruber write? Why is he writing? Like
is he functionally illiterate? You start asking these questions.
Yeah, because the movie starts off very seriously, but then as it goes on, they drop a few jokes here and there, like very subtle. But then, and as it goes on, it gets bigger and bigger, the jokes. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
So anyway, he drives up with his van full of friends, his team to meet up with Colonel Faith and Piper Dixon, and so he goes talks to the brass, Faith and Dixon, while his team is in the van.
Yeah,
and of course he gets into an argument with Dixon,
and he's got those guys all ready to go. He's got like all these C4 explosives in the van for the mission,
right?
And he's ready to go. He's ready to go into action,
right? And of course he gets in a heated argument with Piper. It's like, oh, you can't be part of my team because all those guys are like killers and mercenaries. There's a brotherhood there, and plus you can't ride. You'd be like, oh, you want to ride in the trunk? Well, you can't because it's full of C4 explosives that I personally packed in with my own 2 hit. Boom! And of course, the van explodes and all of his friends die.
Yeah. Yeah,
and of course he freaks out. It's like, oh no, what happened?
Yeah,
like, Doug, you guys okay?
And let's see,
like Forte plays like panicked, meltdown very well.
He is very good at that. He instantly went into like a baby man thing.
It's like, oh God, what happened? Oh no.
And actually on the IMDb page,
but yeah, that scene kind of reminded me of that scene in Deadpool 2 where all the guys get together and they get a little bit.
Okay, under factual errors it says, when the van with MacGruber's team blows up, the explosion is much too small. 75 pounds of C4 would not leave a single part of that van standing around that was bigger than a tin opener. So
who has time to look into that?
Some munitions expert, some explosives expert has some time on his hands and was like, I'm going to correct this mistake on IMDb.
I'm going to wrong this, write this wrong.
Blah, 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 blah. Type.
No, don't type the keyboard anymore. But yeah, it's like one of those things where like somebody who's a doctor watches like a medical show and is like, oh, doctors wouldn't do that. Like,
yeah.
Like, let's suspend disbelief a little bit here.
There's a
lot of things in this movie that wouldn't happen.
Yes.
And we will get to that.
Yeah.
So, of course, they have the funeral for all the men that MacGruber accidentally killed.
Yes.
And they go back to Faith's office, and Faith is like, I think I should pull you off this case right now. I think you're too, this is hitting you too close to home.
Yeah.
And of course, they say, the game has changed, but the players are the same.
Right. And that is when MacGruber he is desperate. And he implores him to go on the mission. It gets to the point he says, I will suck your dick. I will suck your fucking dick. Just join my team. I'll suck your dick.
Yeah,
you can fuck me. You can get fucked by me. You can watch me fuck something. You just point at something in the room and I'll fuck it for you. Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
He says all this to Piper, saying like, Piper, please be on my team. I'm sorry, and I was mad at you.
And it cuts to Piper's horrified reaction, and then it cuts back to MacGruber. MacGruber has his pants off, ready to fuck anything in the room.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I don't see like any lubricant. Is there like some toner or something? And
you can use some whiteout.
It's like, put your pants back on. What are you doing? It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so fucked.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And it just crawls up into a ball and cries.
And it is so out there. It is funny.
This movie takes big swings.
Yeah.
Big swings, and this is one of them. There are even bigger swings to come up.
Yeah.
And but then Piper learns that Kunt is responsible for his MacGruber's wife's death case. So based on that, he's like, all right, I didn't know your wife was killed by him. I'll join you.
Right.
And then like Colonel Faith walks into the office, sees his pants off. It's like, what happened here?
He's like, what is going on?
And but then Piper says, I'm in. And then, it can't be just 2 people. And then that's when Vicky St. Elmo comes and finds them, apparently from just, his note saying that he's at the Pentagon, and says, like, I heard what happened. I'm in too.
Yeah.
So now he has a team of 3.
Yes.
So, so now we're off to the races. We got a team. Mm-hmm. So their first move is to drive to this nightclub in Vegas owned by Kunt. And
Kunt.
Yeah, so they're looking for contacts, trying to find out who has the passcodes.
They're looking for Kunt.
Kunt, looking for who is? Well, if you go to Vegas, you're looking for Kunt. Anywho, so
we're 5.
Yeah. So they're looking for who might have the passcodes, looking for contacts. And as they're doing this, they get out of MacGruber's Miata, and then another car drives by them, and he's like, "Oh, nice car, asshole."
Yeah.
And MacGruber says, "Fuck you." And then, like, as the car drives by who insulted MacGruber, MacGruber looks at that guy's license plate.
And memorizes it. And you hear him repeating the license plate number to himself.
Yes, KFBR 392. KFBR 392.
He keeps repeating that, so he remembers that.
And that comes into play later.
Yeah, and so for the rest of the movie, he is more caught up in getting revenge on this guy who
insulted his car.
Then stopping the person who killed his wife and has a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
Yeah.
So, of course, they go into the nightclub, and instead of doing something, covert and quiet, they make MacGruber, of course, immediately makes his presence known, goes on the stage of the nightclub.
Yes.
Tells the DJ to turn off the music. He gets on the mic and be like, look, I don't know where Kuntz is, but, he's involved in some dangerous shit. So wherever you come through, my name's MacGruber, I'm here, you find me. I'll be at this coffee shop and such and such and so-and-so. Yeah. And I will fuck you up. And then he just throws a mic through like a glass window, and it's just like, and then they come out and they're like, yeah, we did it.
And Ryan Felipe's character immediately points out, he thought you were dead. This was a huge advantage that you just threw away.
Yeah, and it's like, no, it's called sending a message. Don't worry about it.
And this is when we start to realize MacGruber is not that bright.
Yeah, no.
He is not a bright man.
He is not.
He is not good at his job.
And then the henchman tells, Kuntz that, oh yeah, MacGruber was here looking for you, and Kuntz asks the henchman, "I'll bring him in." It's like, oh, we didn't capture him. We didn't think he was a threat. People thought he was actually mentally handicapped, so we just let him go.
Yes.
And they said, don't underestimate this man. So then they do like a little sting operation where they go to the coffee shop where they said they'd be at. Mm-hmm. And instead of MacGruber going in there, it's Vicky St. Elmo dressed as MacGruber.
Yeah, they send Kristen Wiig in MacGruber's outfit, and she's got a wig that gives her MacGruber's mullet. Yeah. Not the wig that Kristen Wiig is wearing in the rest of the movie. It's a different wig.
It's a different wig on wig.
Different wig. I don't think she put the one wig on top of the other wig. I think it was just she switched out the wigs.
Switch wigs.
Yeah.
Wig had a different wig wearing another wig. She didn't wear a wig on her wig. Wig wore a wig.
Right. Right. It was just a wig on wig. It wasn't a wig on a wig on a wig.
Wig on wig action.
Yeah.
All right.
Hot wig on wig action. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a YouPorn search.
Yeah.
So anyways, and then of course Kristen asks, well, why do I have to dress up as you? Why don't you go in?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, because you're dressed as me.
Right.
So you go.
She's the decoy, and she's got like one of those ear radio things.
Right.
And she's in touch with MacGruber, who assures her, "I'm just 7 blocks away."
He's like 7 blocks.
Oh, he's like, okay, 20. I'm 20, and they were like, "You could have parked closer, MacGruber." And he's like, "No, there were meters closer."
So of course, so Kristen Wiig goes in dressed as MacGruber, orders a coffee,
right?
But MacGruber's like, no, I wouldn't. MacGruber would never order a coffee. I ordered, the Tezo tea.
Yeah.
So she orders a tea.
She tips the guy.
Yeah, but then MacGruber's like, no, get that tip back. I would never tip.
Yeah,
and so she takes the tip back out of the cup while the barista stares her straight in the eye.
And the guy playing the barista, I don't have his name handy, but he was wonderful. He just gives her this stare.
It's like, you're really doing this right now?
This incredulous stare, and he's just like, seriously, fucking seriously?
Yeah. And he's but then Vicky's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And MacGruber's like, don't say sorry. You're not sorry.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say I was sorry, so you're not sorry.
Yeah. But she's like, all right, I'm not sorry, but I am sorry.
Yeah.
So then, as she's as MacGruber's giving Vicky instructions what to do, one of Kuntz's henchmen shoots up the van that they're in. I think it's a henchman who goes by the name of Haas Bender. And he shoots up the van, and they're like, oh, my God. Yeah. And, of course, because all the bullets are making all the noise in Vicky's earpiece, she freaks out, and she screams in this very quiet coffee shop. It's like, oh, my God. And then she gets on the ground and, curls up.
Yeah, because for a second, she thinks they're shooting at her.
Right,
exactly. Because she just hears the sound of the gunfire.
Exactly. So it's like, it cuts to them being shot at in the van that they're in, and then it cuts back to Kristen Wiig screaming in a very quiet coffee shop by herself, curled up on the floor.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Mm-hmm. But then what they manage to do is Piper gets a gun, tries to shoot at Haas Bender, but then Haas gets in front of the van that they're in. MacGruber grabs a utility mop that just happens to be around.
I think it was called the Incredimop.
Yeah. He manages to turn on the van, put the use a mop handle to hit the gas pedal, and he managed to run over,
crushes him in between the two vehicles.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So one dead henchman.
Yeah, and it's like Hossbender dead at the edge of who the fuck cares.
Yeah.
So then, of course, Kristen Wiig leaves and meets up with MacGruber and Piper, and so then once they search his body, they're able to find his car keys. They find out where his car's at. Then they find the money they have that he was going to use to buy the passcodes, because he was on his way to buy the passcodes with that money, and then they're able to find out where he was going to meet the people out to get the passcodes. So
this plot is complicated.
It is. This is like this. I wrote more notes for this than I have any other movie.
He has things highlighted.
So many notes.
He has this. It is the diary of a madman.
It is.
Speaking of the diary of a madman, at one point, Ryan Felipe in the movie, he finds a notebook that MacGruber is keeping.
Yeah,
and the first page just says clues, has the number 1, nothing after that, and then the rest is all just stuff about the license plate of the car of the guy who pissed him off.
It just says it's like Jack Torrance in The Shining. Just the license plate number written over and over and over again.
Right.
And then at the last page, it has like this crude, childlike drawing of him pooping on the car from a tree.
Yeah.
And like Ryan's like, what the who is this guy?
Yeah.
Hilarious. So anyway, now they have the money that Hossbender was going to use to buy the passcodes, and they know where he was going to go.
Yeah.
So based on that information, they go to the meeting place, and they have Vicky dressed up as Hossbender.
Right.
And
the henchman that they just killed.
So she would go in as the guy.
Right.
And then they have Piper dressed as MacGruber for some reason. I don't know why.
For some reason. And it's at this point, I think, that we realize that MacGruber is not especially good at his job.
No. He kind of, sort of, yes, sort of, no.
You start to feel like he does not know what he is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because...
And he is just... Because they ask him, what is the plan? And he's like, I don't know, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's not a plan. And he's like, no, that's a plan.
Yeah, because it's like, we're just going to wing it? It's like, no, there's a big difference between winging it and just seeing what happens.
Right.
Now let's see what happens. So, and that's the plan. Like, Vicky is supposed to go in dressed as Hossbender with the money, but they first need a distraction for the guards who are out front.
Yeah.
And of course, MacGruber goes through the garbage looking for stuff for a distraction. He finds exactly what he needs, which is a stalk of celery.
Yes.
And he uses this in a very strange way.
How so?
Well, he decides to take all of his clothes off,
right?
Stick the celery up his butt, and kind of do like a little waddle and like go caw in front of the henchman.
He kind of dances around. He is cupping himself in the front, so he is. You are shielded from the Will Forte genitalia.
Yeah, exactly.
But he has the celery stick up himself,
right. And the way it looks like Will Forte actually did this. Like,
100%.
Yeah, he totally.
That is 100% Will Forte's ass.
I mean, I don't know if it was like a stunt butt or
no.
what.
They talk about this on the commentary. They went through several stalks of celery. Because I'm imagine they were used up quickly.
Yeah. He's a method actor, if not anything. He's like the Daniel Day-Lewis of our time.
So he is distracting them, and then
and of course the guards out front are like, what the fuck
the three
is that?
henchmen,
And of course, while they stare bewildered at a man naked with a celery up his butt, that's when Piper shoots him, and it's like Piper's like, I guess that kind of worked in a way. Yeah. So they're like, all right, we're in. So then they get into the place. They have Vicky, who goes in dressed as Hossbender. She's
immediately recognized. Like as she doesn't even finish coming in the door before they start firing at her.
Yeah, because like she's like very nervous going and saying like, oh my god, I don't know if we should do this. And then, MacGruber's like calming her, saying, relax, it's just like Nicaragua. And she's like, I got shot in Nicaragua. It's like, this is nothing like Nicaragua. And then she says, all right, now just play it cool. It's going to be a few minutes before they recognize it's not you. And like they immediately know it's not her. It's like, that's not her. And then they shoot at her. She freaks out. She drops the bag of money and she like runs screaming out of the place. And then, of course, Piper starts shooting at them. While MacGruber, of course, he doesn't use guns, so he tries to make like a homemade bomb out of some explosives and a tennis ball and some plastics and rubber and stuff.
Yeah.
So while Piper's is the only guy shooting at them, because
MacGruber doesn't like guns.
Kunt's henchmen, they're able to get the passcodes, get the money, and then they just take off.
Yeah.
And then MacGruber kind of throws the tennis ball at them, and it does it. It kind of it goes like
it's a really pathetic smoke bomb.
Yes, very much so.
And the bad guys, they now have the codes, they now have the money. They are in a better position than they were before. They are like a few men down, but that is it. And is it at this point in the movie that I think I started to realize that MacGruber is not especially good at his job?
Yeah, at this point you're like, hey, maybe he's not that great.
No.
It's kind of like a Get Smart type of scenario where it's like, you think he's going to be great, but he's not that great.
Yeah.
So of course they got the passcodes, they got the money, they're trying to figure out what the next stop is to do. They find somebody's cell phone on them, trying to get the information from where they're at, and they get nothing there. But then MacGruber gets a call from Colonel Faith telling them about this fundraiser that Kunt is having in his. It's kind of like beach house or something like that, like this luxury house. And he's like, I just want you to go there for surveillance. Don't go in. I repeat, don't go in. And of course, MacGruber goes in, dressed up in like this big white suit while Take Me Home Tonight plays on the stereo.
He says it's going to be inconspicuous, but he's got his hair all slicked back, and he's in the white suit. And
he's giving the finger to the valet.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's one scene also where a coat check girl asks him, "Oh, may I take your coat, or may I take your car stereo?" That woman is Marielle Heller, who is Jorma Tacón's wife.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, and she also, of course, went on to direct "Can You Forgive Me" with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the upcoming Fred Rogers movie, "A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood."
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it looks good.
That sounds cool. Yes.
Yeah. So Marielle Heller makes a quick little cameo.
Yeah, her character in the movie is credited as Clocky.
Yeah, I didn't know what. I don't know why they just say coat check girl. I don't want to say.
I'm assuming that's some sort of private joke between Jorma Tacón and his wife.
Pet name.
Yeah.
Hey, Clacky. My little Clacky. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So then he's in. Vicky St. Elmo's in, and she looks very lovely. Like both of them have a very odd '80s type of style. So the two of them.
She's a little more '70s. She's got like sort of the Farrah flip.
She got the Farrah flip.
Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, that's the scene where MacGruber says that he took an upper decker in Kunt's toilet, which is where you take a poop in the toilet tank and not in the actual toilet itself, which I didn't know was a thing. I guess
that is a thing. That is apparently a big prank.
Really?
I have never done this prank or had this prank done on me.
You've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
You've heard tale.
I don't know where I first heard about upper deckers, but it is where you go in the tank,
right?
And then because people don't check the tanks very often,
right?
It stays there and the smell lingers. I'm assuming, and
clever.
It's a whole thing, and then you have to like go clean that junk out of the tank, and it's a whole thing.
Good Lord! All right, well that's a helpful hint for all you guys out there if you want to.
No.
I mean, unless it's somebody who's a real jerk.
No, if they're a real jerk, no, absolutely, 100%. Upper decker. That's your only option.
Yeah, somebody killed your wife or something like that. Give an upper decker.
Yeah, upper decker.
That'll even the playing field.
Absolutely.
So then, of course, MacGruber finds Kunt in a high stakes poker game, and then they have a little back and forth. There's like a woman standing next to Kunt, who MacGruber assumes is his like escort, and he's like, this lovely escort you have. I hope you enjoy being date raped, my lady.
And then Kunt says, "No, this is actually my daughter," and it's awkward,
very awkward, and it just gets more awkward. So then they have like this kind of, this kind of macho kind of back and forth where they, Kunt lets his henchmen take care of MacGruber.
Yeah,
of course MacGruber says like, I know you have the warhead, and Kunt says like, I don't know what you're talking about, but my men will show you out.
Yeah,
and then of course MacGruber says, has big talk saying, look, this is how it's going to go down.
I'm going to take you out this way. I'm going to take you out that way.
Yeah,
I'm going to rip your throat out.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to rip somebody's throat out.
I need to get a good throat rip out.
Yep.
And of course, they just end up throwing him through a plate glass window and and smashing his car stereo, his block pump.
Yes.
No, you did not destroy my block pump.
And I think it was around this point in the movie that I started to realize that MacGruber not very good at his job.
No, didn't you just say that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Thought you said that. It's a deja vu.
No, I don't believe so.
All right, so then like they go kind of dejected, but at the same point. Vicky St. Elmo notices that I think the Senator Garver, was there, and he was giving an envelope to somebody, which comes into play a little bit later.
Yeah.
So, of course, Colonel Face finds out what MacGruber did. Of course, he's incensed. Like, I just told you to do surveillance. I didn't tell you to go in there and, cause a ruckus. Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm taking you off this case, like, for good this time. Like,
you're off the case, MacGruber.
Yeah, exactly. The big gruff man. Like, you're off.
He unfortunately does not have to turn in a gun and a badge because MacGruber doesn't like guns. Doesn't have a badge.
Yeah.
Can't turn anything in.
Yeah, and so, of course, MacGruber leaves dejected, but, of course, he makes one final plea to stay on the case by offering to suck the Colonel's dick and allow him...
As you do.
As you do.
As you do.
Hey, you got to shoot your shot, man. Yeah.
It's a card. You got to play it.
Yeah, it's the last card. It's like, I will suck your dick. I will let you fuck me.
Mm-hmm.
No, MacGruber. And they play it very serious, very somberly, which makes it funnier.
Yeah. Apparently, like, Powers Booth was, like, asking... Yorma, he was like, how should I react to this? Do you want like a Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen type reaction? And Yorma was like, no. Just play it like totally straight. Play it like this is the saddest moment you're seeing MacGruber reduced to this.
Right. He plays it very straight, but that makes it funnier. Like
it's
Leslie
all the funnier.
Like Leslie Nielsen and like Airplane and whatnot. Like he just plays it straight and it just becomes funny.
Yeah,
it's very.
But it's not mugging like the later Naked Gun movies.
Yeah, or Spy Hard or Dracula Dead and Loving.
Right, like the mistake most of those movies make is they were like, something funny just happened.
Yeah, like once you're in on the joke and you play into the joke, it's not funny.
No,
you got to play the joke like you don't know the joke.
No.
All right, so anyway, the team they're off the case and they're all at MacGruber's trailer, drinking and hanging out and be like, we tried, we did what we could. And there's, of course, a little flirtation between Vicky and MacGruber.
Yeah.
She goes to leave to use the bathroom. And then, of course, Piper says, when are you going to make your move on Vicky? You're
like, oh, no. I've known Vicky forever. She was my wife's best friend.
Yeah.
And we learn a little backstory of MacGruber and Kunth. And
that was hilarious. Well, actually, I printed that out too.
Oh, you had this whole passage. Can I read this passage? I loved this passage. This is here at the bottom.
At the bottom because Piper asks why does Kunth hate you so much?
Yeah, okay. And MacGruber says, to this day, I have no idea. We actually all went to college together, believe it or not. We were very close friends. Then after graduation, he got engaged to her. He asked me to be his best man, and right about that time, I started banging her and mowing her box. She was actually like the first person I felt comfortable enough around to let eat out my butt.
Jeez.
Anyway, shortly thereafter, she left him for me. She was actually carrying his child at the time. I asked her to terminate it, obviously, so that we could start fresh. And she agreed. We were so in love. And he took that from me.
Yeah. and Piper's just listening in horror.
And he goes, that's really fucked up.
And he's like, yeah, thank you.
And so we find out that our hero
is actually the villain in a way.
has stolen his best friend's girlfriend, impregnated her, and then persuaded her to terminate the pregnancy. And I think that just deserves a little problematic bell there.
Again, swings for the fences. This movie makes big choices.
But I think it was after MacGruber made that speech that I started to realize that MacGruber, not very good at his job, and not a good person.
It's the first time I'm hearing you say this.
Yeah, no. Right. I mean, it was just an insight I had right at that moment.
Wow.
But
at that moment.
Yeah.
All right, and also there's another joke where it was really quick, where like Piper and MacGruber are talking. It's like, oh yeah, make your move. And it's like, no way. It's like, you're loco, man. And like then English subtitles popped up saying, you're crazy, man.
Yeah, because they were subtitling the early scenes in the movie where they're speaking in the foreign languages when they're in Siberia or wherever the hell they were.
Right. Ecuador.
Ecuador. Okay.
All right.
I mean, this movie globetrots a lot. It goes to a lot of different places.
It goes from place to place.
But
yeah, it was just funny saying like they need to translate "your loco, man" for.
And they just put that in the subtitles, and it was so quick. I would just wonder if they added that during the editing or something.
I don't know, maybe.
But that was a very cute moment.
All right, so then they're bonding a little bit more. They're like all the anger between them is kind of going away, and they're saying, hey, I know I treated you unfairly, but you're actually a good dude, and they're bonding. They're like they're having a nice moment.
Yeah.
So
it's midway through the movie. It's time for them to bond.
Yeah, exactly. So
we're not so different, you and I.
Yeah, exactly. We're one and the same, man.
Yeah.
So then, of course, he goes to grab another beer, and then that's when MacGruber sees there's like a sniper in the bushes, and then he says, "Piper, no!" And then it looks like he's about to grab him or stand in front of him.
Yeah, or tackle him to get him out of the line of fire.
But he actually stands behind Piper and uses him as a human shield as Piper gets shot up by a sniper.
Like front and back. He at one point turns Ryan Philippe around. I hit the mic. I was gesturing. I was miming for the people who cannot see me as to how he turned Ryan
Theater of the mind, people.
Yeah. And
So
and
Ryan Philippe gets shot up while MacGruber hides behind him. And then Vicky St. Elmo, like all three of them get into a car and drive off.
Yeah.
And escape. And then Vicky's like, "Oh my God, is he dead? Is he dead?" And MacGruber's like, "Yeah, of course he's dead, man, of course." And then, of course, Piper gets up showing that he's actually not dead. And he's like, "Oh, how'd you know I was wearing a bulletproof vest?" And MacGruber's like, "Oh, you're wearing a bulletproof vest? Oh, awesome."
Yeah.
And then, of course, Piper gets a little mad. And he's like, "Let me out now, you son of a bitch. You're using me as a human shield. Give me
Yeah.
And, of course, they drop him off in anger. And then Vicky says, "All right, get home safe."
Yeah.
Bye.
And this I think was a really telling moment because this was a moment where I realized something about MacGruber was...
What did you realize about MacGruber?
I don't know how to put it into words. I guess if I had to say it, I would say he is not very good at his job.
Huh.
Yeah.
Really? Just now?
Yeah. This was the first moment where I realized that.
Wow.
Everything up until this moment, perfect. He was doing a bang up job.
He was nailing it. But this is the moment.
This was the moment.
You
right
realized.
Here. This was the moment. I realized that. Yeah.
Huh.
It changed my perception.
I'm shocked. I didn't see this coming at all.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So then it's MacGruber and Vicky, and he drives Vicky home. And of course, he's like very upset. Like he got shot out. He's not working on the case. His case he's hit low. He just feels like, self-pitying. It's just like
because he's not very good at his job.
Yeah, because he's not very good at his job.
Yeah.
Vicky notices that he got shot like in his inner thigh area.
Yeah.
And then he said, "All right, let me come inside my house. I'll fix that up for you." Mm-hmm. And then of course they have like this very kind of quiet moments, like the two of them, while she works on the bullet inside his thigh.
Yeah, near the crotch area.
Yeah, she like digs out the bullet. It's kind of gruesome.
With a pair of pliers. Yeah, because the makeup person did a very nice job on this because it looks kind of grisly.
Yeah, it's like, ew. Yeah. But like while that's happening, they're having this very kind of intimate moment where it's like, where MacGruber's like, maybe the Colonel was right. Maybe I'm not ready for this.
And she is actually like trying to extract the bullet with like a pair of needle nose pliers.
Yeah.
And at one point, she lets go of the needle nose pliers, and so we just have a shot of the needle nose pliers just sitting there in the gun wound, just sticking straight out. And
it's
you're
like,
just like,
yeah. But then she's like kind of consoling him, saying, "No, you're a great guy. You're, handsome man, amazing." And there's this very kind of soft, intimate time between them, and MacGruber's like, "How come you never found a guy and got out of this business, settled down?" And she was like, "Oh, I was in love once, but he was married to my best friend, and hope he doesn't blame himself for his wife's dying in this explosion." So like she kind of lets him know that she was always in love with him, and then he lets her know that he's always kind of had a thing for her, and then he starts to get an erection, and then Vicky's like, "Oh, I'm MacGruber." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I always get an erection whenever a beautiful woman uses pliers near my balls."
Yeah.
And then Vicky's like, "All right, I got the bullet out. Let me sew you up." And he's like, "No, leave it open. I like holes." Jesus. And then of course she's like, they're about to kiss, and she's like, "MacGruber, I'm a virgin." He's like, "Not for long." And then, of course, that's when Broken Wings by Mr. Mister plays, and then it's very soft core Cinemax love making.
It's in the low lighting. It's very like I haven't seen Top Gun in probably a couple decades, but I think it's like sort of like the sex scene in Top Gun.
Yeah,
it's very low light. They're playing the soft rock. Romantic thing.
Yeah, silk sheets.
And,
canopy and all that stuff.
Yeah, close-ups of various body parts.
Yeah. But then one of the funniest scenes in the movie, it immediately cuts to the reality of what's happening, which is MacGruber on top of Vicky, kind of he's doing this weird grunt sex.
He's kind of mounting her.
Yeah, and he's going like, yeah, you like that? Yeah. And it's so, because he's like.
It is like literally every unattractive. Think of the most unattractive moment you've had if having sex.
Yes. And I've
that was this moment.
Yeah, and he's like talking. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fill you up. I'm gonna fill. And she gets into it. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fill you up.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? I'm gonna fill you up. He's like, just stop talking. Let me do. And then of course he goes, I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Okay, that sounded like a Bob Dylan impression. First of all, that sounded like a straight up Bob Dylan impression. This scene, by the way, shot on Kristen Wiig's birthday.
Happy birthday!
And they shot this movie in, I believe it was Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was apparently so hot that Will Forte was sweating on her, like his sweat is dripping on her face, and you can see in the final cut of the movie she's like moving her face back and forth to avoid drops of sweat from dripping.
Oh, poor Will. He's getting all the sweat over this woman, and he's just making these. I'm gonna do it.
And on the
I laugh when that scene came home. I lost it.
It is the funniest movie sex scene since Team America: World Police.
Absolutely, it's up there.
You enjoy making those sounds a little too much. Just okay. I think we've lost Darren.
Oh,
Darren's going to need a few minutes.
Okay. No, I'm fine.
Okay. Are you okay? Can you continue?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So of course, after he had sex with Vicky, he's immediately racked with guilt, feeling like he betrayed the memory of his late wife. So he immediately leaves her house. Vicky chases after him.
Yeah.
But he immediately gets into his Miata, drives off to the cemetery where his wife's buried.
Goes off to his wife's gravestone.
Yeah, his wife's gravestone.
Because he feels he's betrayed her memory.
Yes, he needs to confess.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry, I feel like I betrayed your memory. I'm so sorry. How could I have done this? And then Casey, the ghost of his dead wife, comes and says, Maya Rudolph says, go to her.
In her bridal gown.
Yes.
In her bridal gown. The ghost, she's got the ghostly aura.
Right. And he appears in front of him saying, you need to go to her. You need to go on with your life, please. It's all right.
And I want you to be happy.
I want you to be happy. And then MacGruber's like, well, I don't know what to say. And then she says, don't say anything. And then they start making out, and Broken Wings plays all over again.
We have a sex scene between MacGruber and his late wife.
Over her grave.
He is screwing the ghost of his wife. He is mounting her.
Wow!
On top of the grave.
Wow! It blew my mind when I saw that. Yeah. I was like, that's, again, big swings.
By the way, a little bit of interesting trivia about this scene that probably tops the Kristen Wiig trivia of her shooting her sex scene on her birthday. When this sex scene was shot, Maya Rudolph, 8 months pregnant.
Oh no.
8 months pregnant.
Oh dear.
So all of her stuff for this movie was shot when she was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah. Wow.
So imagine, okay, you are Will Forte and or Maya Rudolph.
Right.
You're friends with somebody. You're on a sketch show with them for like 5 years, whatever it was, that they were on the sketch show together. You write a movie.
Yeah.
You have a sex scene between those two characters. The time comes for you to shoot this movie and shoot those sex scenes.
Right.
And your co-star is 8 months pregnant.
And
you are friends.
Yeah.
You very likely know her husband.
Right.
Are friends with her husband.
Yeah, very much so. You've met the man at least once.
I'm just saying, actors have a weird job sometimes.
Very much so. But it's all played for comedy. It's not like sensual at all.
No.
And so it's her.
And you don't see that she is pregnant.
Yeah, she's wearing a wedding dress. But
yeah.
So it's like basically like they have she's having sex with the ghost, and like then they cut to what's actually happening, where it's him again grunting, going, yeah.
But she is not there. They cut to the viewpoint of
like one of the groundskeepers.
A groundskeeper,
and it's like him, like with no clothes on again. He's naked again in the.
You see a lot of Will Forte's butt in this movie.
You see a lot of booty.
Like as much of as we saw of Tim Meadows' ass last week, we see even more of Will Forte's butt in this movie.
Yeah, so like one of the groundskeepers sees what's actually happening. It's actually Will Forte, kind of naked in front of over his wife's grave, humping the air. Really, and it's they cut to like him having sex with the wife, and she's going wow, and he's like wow, and it's just like, my God, this movie.
You know these sex scenes very, very well. You have watched this movie a few times.
I'm a fan of comedic erotica. What can I say? So then, of course, he gets dressed and he leaves in the car. He goes to his car. He gets a call from what was it? Oh yeah, at this point he gets a call from Colonel Faith.
Powers booth.
Yeah, actually, wait, no. Before that, as he goes to his car after having sex with
he finds the car
with the license plate he's been memorizing,
right? So he starts keying the car,
right,
and smashing in the windows.
Yes, and as he's doing that, he gets a call from Colonel Faith saying that they found the warheads. The Russians have it. And Kunt didn't have anything to do with it.
Because, by the way, there is still a nuclear warhead missing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so like while he's on the phone with Colonel Faith saying, no, I really feel like Kunt is behind it. I think you're wrong on this. And of course, while he's keying this car and smashing the windows, and he's dousing it with gasoline because he's about to set it on fire because the guy just insulted him. And then he says, like, I don't know what Kunt is going to do with it, but he definitely has the warhead. Then he sees a newspaper in the car saying that there's a State of the Union about to come up, and then he's like, that's it.
He realizes the plan.
He's going to use the warhead on the State of the Union, and then he hangs up the phone, he sets the car on fire, and then, of course, the guy, he's like, hey, that's my car! And he just, takes off. So then we see what's going on the other side of the phone, and we see that Colonel Faith hangs up the phone saying, I told him, but I don't know if he believes me. And we see that he's talking to the senator who was there at Kunt's party. It's like, where did you get your intel from, Senator? And he says, oh, I'm sorry, Jim. And he shoots the colonel.
He shoots Powers Booth. Yep.
So then...
like you do.
Like you do.
When you're secretly a bad guy henchman.
Exactly. It's another trope in 80s action movie that happens.
Yeah, that third act betrayal.
Yeah.
Got to have that.
Betrayal. Oh, he said it was Chechen rebels that stole the warhead. It wasn't Kunt. But we find out, of course, it was Kunt.
Yeah.
So anyway, MacGruber goes to Vicky's house, and he sees that Kunt has kidnapped her. He
places in a shambles.
Yes, place is shambles. See that Vicky's missing. Kunt calls MacGruber saying, "Oh, I have your woman, and come find me," and type of stuff. So he's like now he's ready. Now he's mad.
He's mad. Now this time it's personal.
This time it's personal.
It's personal.
So of course he goes to his trailer. He gears up. He tapes bottle caps and safety pins to his body, like Rambo style.
Right.
He goes up.
Is that a thing Rambo does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean Rambo had that thing where he he's strapping up and he has putting on army knives on all over his body.
But he did not actually put bottle caps and clothespins on his nipples the way MacGruber did. Okay.
No, but in
I just wanted to clarify that.
Rambo style.
I mean,
manner.
It's shot like a suiting up, armoring up scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
yeah,
Rambo never used, but I've never seen Rambo, so he might have. I don't know. But so anyway, he drives up to meet up with Piper. Of course, he drives up while "Steal Away" by Robbie Dupree, I think, plays it. It's another soft. Another soft rock.
I love how you're like, oh yeah, John will know this.
You don't know "Steal Away"?
I know the song. I don't know. I have no idea who did it.
Why don't we steal?
You're gonna look it up now, aren't you?
Yeah. Maybe
well, Ryan Felipe is Piper is like, well, hey, I'm gonna help you out on this, but I'm not helping you out because of you. I'm helping you out because of all the innocent people who are in danger, and the president and Congress and all that, because a lot of people they come to the State of the Union.
Right. Robbie Dupree, it is Steal.
Because this movie was made back in 2010, back when people still cared about that sort of thing, and we weren't in an eternal hellscape.
Yes, back. Remember those days?
Yeah,
it's a good time to be alive.
Good time.
All right, so So MacGruber finds out. Oh, because he's able to triangulate the call from Kunth. And he, of course, he goes to where they're at. Mm-hmm. And that's when we find out MacGruber really likes to rip out people's throats, like Roadhouse style.
Yeah, that's a thing with him. He's like keeping track as he goes. He's like, I'm hoping to rip out some more throats.
Yeah.
I want to get the turkey.
Yeah.
Which is a bowling term when you get 3 strikes in a row.
Yes. Yeah. I put it towards ripping out throats.
Yeah.
And I think it's because because MacGruber's been like kind of so inept up to this point, we don't think he can do it. But
wait. Are you saying that MacGruber is not good at his job?
I remember somebody telling me that there was a point in this movie where they thought MacGruber wasn't good at his job. I forget where.
Interesting.
I forget where I heard it. It was
okay.
It was online or something.
Anyway.
But apparently MacGruber can and will rip out men's throats.
Yeah, at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, and Piper's like, that's really disgusting.
Yeah.
Which it is.
They get kind of gory with it. Yes.
Yeah. So he rips out throats. He rips throats his way into the control room of the place.
Yeah.
And of course, he immediately makes his presence known over the loudspeaker, saying,
"Right,
Kunth, I'm here. I'm at the control room. Come get me. Me and Piper."
Which seems like a bad move.
It does. You think at that point, you kind of think that he's not good at his job.
You would think that the element of surprise might be to his advantage.
You think so, but he's not about that.
But I mean, it makes me think that perhaps MacGruber not especially good at his job.
Yeah, you think so.
Yeah.
But so of course they say, "Hey, come find me. Send your people. We have a little surprise waiting for you." And of course, the henchmen get there. Mm-hmm. They don't know what to expect. And they open the door, and like the small little foam coffee cup of water kind of splashes on them from above.
Yeah.
Like this, it's set up by string and stuff.
Right.
Like Home Alone style.
Yeah.
And then they look and they see that the body of the guy that MacGruber killed by ripping out his throat, he kind of he posed it so that they're giving him the middle finger.
Yeah, and there's a note on him that says "You're all wet"
in childish handwriting. That's their
again
surprise.
Because MacGruber functionally illiterate.
Yeah, he's functionally illiterate, and he doesn't mind desecrating a dead body.
Yeah, and he enjoys ripping out the throats.
That's his thing.
That's one of his many things.
Yeah. So of course the two of them go in.
By the way, I will just say at this point, MacGruber has not made too many life-saving inventions out of household materials.
Nope, none.
We have not seen that at all.
Hasn't done
at this point. The big thing in his sketch where that is supposed to be his main skill, we have not seen him do that at all.
Nope.
In
not at all.
3/4 of this movie.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
So at this point, the henchmen find out where Piper and MacGruber are. They go hunt them down. Of course, they're shooting at them. Of course, Piper again is the only one willing to use a gun. Piper's like, MacGruber, you got to use a gun.
MacGruber is very uncomfortable around guns.
And then, of course, that's when MacGruber breaks down saying, I don't know how, all right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to use a gun. That's why
Navy SEAL does not know how to use a gun. I don't know how that. I want that prequel. Yeah. I want to find out how he became a Navy SEAL without using a gun.
Yeah, and it's like, they scare me. They make loud noises. I want to do it.
Navy SEAL, Army Ranger. I think he was a Green Beret too.
Yeah,
and somehow got through all that, never using a gun.
Exactly. So then, at that point, Piper kind of, all right, here's a gun. They think they find 2 Uzis because they killed 2 guys or something like that with Uzis. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, just point and pull the trigger and aim it. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, I'm going to do it for Vicky. And then, of course, as he stands up to shoot the gun, he kind of flails his arms about. Like
Will Forte firing 2 Uzis, like 1 Uzi in each hand, is just, it is hilarious.
Just not aiming it at anything, just like a one of those crazy armed people you see at like the car dealership.
Yes, that's a good analogy for
but
it.
If they were holding machine guns.
That's the visual.
Just
he is not looking where he is firing. He is just firing randomly and flapping his arms around.
But then he hides like, oh, I hit a barrel. I did it. I think I got one.
And Piper's like, no, I'm pretty sure that was me.
And then at some point he ends up really liking the guns. Like, wow, guns are awesome. So much better than those dumbass gadgets I was making. This is cool.
Yeah.
And of course they're able to find Vicky where she's being held. But then
Vicky's in a chair. She tries getting out.
Right.
Am I jumping ahead here when she tries getting out and she's trying to saw through the ropes that are holding her?
Right.
And when they find her, she's the chair is collapsed on the ground, and she's still not loose.
Yeah,
she is not successfully.
She's just there on the ground, still tied up.
The chair's like a wreck and broken apart, but she still is not loose. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but so then they find her, but of course, Kunt's henchmen get the drop on her, and then they bring all three of them to Kunt and the warhead.
Right,
and that's when he kind of tells them his evil plan, like how he's going to use the warhead.
Right, because he's profiting. He's not just like killing the president and all of Congress at the State of the Union. He's also profiting from this.
Right, he's being hired by the Chinese to kill off the president, and he makes money off that.
Right,
and
as you do.
Because
I think Kunt kind of good at his job.
He's very good at his job.
He's very good at his job.
He
takes pride in his work.
Yeah, He
is an effective villain.
Yes, it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then of course he tells MacGruber that he won and he's the winner in this and he lost. So he wants to sort of berate and belittle and humiliate MacGruber one last time. So he gets some scissors and begins to cut MacGruber's mullet.
Cuts the back off of his mullet. Yes.
Back hair of his mullet, and of course that sends MacGruber into this rage, this unseen rage. And of course, again, Forte, he's able to do this thing with his face where he's like the bottom of his mouth kind of like curled down and is like, it looks funny and also terrifying at the same time where he has this huge rage and is able to break free, rips out two men's throats at the same time.
Yep.
And that's when...
So the count's at like 5 now for the ripped out throats?
I believe so.
I think.
Got the big 5.
Because he got those 3 before. He got the turkey.
Yes.
And then he did the 2 more.
Right.
So I don't know what the bowling term is for that, but
triple turkey.
I don't know.
If a bowler wants to call in and let us know, call in. Ernie McCracken or whoever. Let us know. So and that's when of course Kunt is terrified. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then Piper breaks free and he's able to distract the other guard.
Yes.
By sticking a celery up his ass and not having pants.
Yeah.
And then of course MacGruber.
This, by the way, 100% Ryan Philippe.
He actually did that.
The shot is, it starts on his face, it pans down, you see his ass, and he has the celery stick up his butt.
Yes, absolutely. He did that.
Yeah.
Method actor.
And earlier in the movie, he said, I would never do that. That would never... I cannot imagine the circumstances in which
I would never ever do that.
That was some subtle foreshadowing, guys. Because the screenwriters of this movie, very good at their jobs.
They're very good at their jobs.
Was this nominated for any Oscars?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Seeing as how it made no money. It only
that's an interesting omission.
Seeing as how it only stayed in theaters for 3 weeks.
I'm going to look up what won Best Screenplay in 2010.
You do that.
Because I just want to know how they got nominated above MacGruber.
Oof. Okay. All right, so then as he's doing that, MacGruber gives Piper like a nod and a smile. Then Piper gives a nod and a smile back. It's like, I learned from you. I learned how to stick a celery up my ass from you. And that's when Vicky St. Elmo is able to break free, and she does this like kind of karate kick, John Woo style crouching tiger kick, and is able to disarm. And she lands. She flies in the air and kicks him in the face, and does like a little John Woo style landing. It was like, whoa, all right.
Yeah.
And so they're able. So then MacGruber is able to get the handcuffs. He handcuffs Kunt to like a console or something, or like to where the warhead is. Then they quickly rush up to the warhead, try to disable it, and then MacGruber looks at the inner workings of it. And this is the part where they kind of recreate the sketch, because they make that same.
They are back at the place. They have this bomb that is going off in 3 minutes. They have to defuse it.
Right. And you hear the same siren noise that they make in the original SNL sketch.
And they do the exact dialogue.
Right,
He's
exactly.
like, okay, hand me this over there. Hand me this over there. You got it, MacGruber.
Yeah.
Here you go, MacGruber. And,
right. Yeah. And then, well, actually, two things happen. Well, one thing, MacGruber gets some of the household item that's around him, and he proposes to Vicky right there, saying, because he
makes a makeshift engagement ring.
Yeah, and he realizes he loves her, he wants to marry her. And
yeah,
she's like, yes, I will. Just defuse the bomb first, all right?
Right.
And then he looks in the bomb, and he's like, oh shit, what the hell is this? I don't know how to do this. There's like a million wires.
There's so many wires. I'm used to like 3 wires. And yeah, it's just a thing. By the way, best screenplay for 2010, The Hurt Locker, Mark Bowl.
It's the other bomb movie.
Yeah, see, I mean,
that's fine.
I'm sure that was good in its way, but I mean, MacGruber does all this. He defuses bombs and he rips out throats.
Yeah,
and
Did Jeremy Renner stick a celery up his ass? I don't think he did.
I don't think I've seen The Hurt Locker, but I am pretty sure that at no point Jeremy Renner stuck celery up his ass.
I'm just saying. Not only Forte and Phillippe did it. I'm
just saying MacGruber a little more versatile than Jeremy Renner's character in The Hurt Locker.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
And
because I might be changing my mind a little bit.
Well, to what?
MacGruber might have been doing a good job.
All right.
Let's put a pin in that, and we'll circle back on that later.
Oh, and another thing I kind of noticed, it was like kind of a throwaway thing. I noticed they mentioned like Molson beer like 3 times in this movie. I don't know if that was like a running gag or
Val Kilmer mentions
Molson beer, and then like I think like when they were at MacGruber's trailers, like, oh yeah, go get another Molson and out of the. I don't know why they mentioned Molson beer a couple times. I'm sure it's something that I'm missing. Yeah. So anyway, MacGruber looks at the warhead and is like, what the fuck is this? I can't do. I'm like, there's like a bunch of wires in here. And of course, he freaks out, and of course they say, MacGruber, can you defuse this bomb or not? It's like, no, I can't, but I can. He takes out the guidance system, so it can't go anywhere. And then he takes out the thermonuclear core.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. Yeah. So it just becomes a regular bomb. So they've defeated Kunt's plan. So then the 3 of them just run out and they just leave Kunt there to be blown up by his own bomb.
Right, because he's handcuffed.
And he can't get out. Yeah. But they do show, like as they're leaving the place, they do show that Kunt kind of looks at, there's this axe that's like behind glass, like a
that he could use to possibly
like for emergency. So they allude to something else that comes up later. So anyway, they leave. The whole place blows up. You hear like a wildcat growl for some reason.
Yeah, there's like in the explosions that you hear.
Yeah,
which just a weird, absurd thing they do. But I enjoyed it.
It's a weird, absurd movie.
Yeah.
So so then they did it. They defeated Kunt. Then it skips ahead to 6 months later at Vicky and MacGruber's wedding.
Yep.
We find out that. Colonel Faith is actually alive. He actually survived getting shot.
His arm is in a sling. Yeah. 6 months later. That seems like a long time.
I'm not a doctor, man.
This seems like a long recovery time.
You don't know what it hit.
I have never heard of an injury where your arm is still in a sling 6 months later.
Dude, hey, man, medicine is weird.
Okay.
I can't call it. All right. So of course they're getting married, near a cliff, and Piper's there and everybody's there.
Now you say that they're getting married near a cliff. I feel like when you say that, the cliff is going to be significant somehow in the next few minutes.
Well, it just might.
Okay.
So of course the
we'll see what happens with that. We'll put a pin in that.
Put a pin in that. Yeah. Another pin. So many pins.
Yeah.
So then the preacher says, does anybody see a reason these people should not be married? Then of course the ghost of Casey, MacGruber's ex-wife,
Maya Rudolph.
She looks like she's about to say something, but she's like, "Oh no!" Like she's not. Yeah. She makes a joke like she's not going to say anything. Then of course,
because she wants him to be happy.
Yeah, she wants him to be happy.
And they do not hump again.
They do not
over a gravestone.
Yeah,
they could have.
I
bet she would have gone for it.
Yeah,
honestly, I bet if MacGruber played his cards right, he could have had a 3-way right there with Vicky and his ghost and all sorts of uncomfortable humping. And we could have gotten a little bit more of Will Forte ass in this movie.
Oh, no, that's a Pornhub search.
That's a Pornhub search.
Call back.
That's a Pornhub search.
And, of course, we see the ghosts of all the original team members that MacGruber accidentally killed are there, too. And then we also see, as MacGruber is about to say, I do, Val Kilmer survived somehow.
What?
He did.
What? But he was in an explosion. How could he? What? How?
He survived, but half his face is kind of melted off.
Yeah.
And he has a hook hand showing that, alluding that he chopped off his hand to get free. Yeah. And he has a rocket launcher aimed squarely at the altar where they're at.
Now, see, why do you chop off your hand when you can chop the handcuffs? I don't get that. I don't.
You know what that does make?
Don't get that.
You know what? I don't know why I didn't consider that, but yeah, that makes way more sense.
I mean, I'm just saying that's the way I would try to go. I wouldn't go straight 127 hours with it.
Yeah,
I would be like, let me try to work this handcuff.
That sounds like some Saw shit. Yeah,
I didn't. That's some Saw shit.
But
he was Batman 10 Nights of the Beast shit.
Ooh,
that's a deep cut for you comic fans.
That was a deep. I didn't even get that.
Okay, I'll explain it later.
But yeah, so anyway, he chopped off his hand, and he has a hook hand, and he shoots a rocket launcher. Of course, the rocket Vicky and MacGruber duck out the way, Of course, the rocket launcher only kills the minister.
Yeah.
And it blows up everything. Another wildcat sound is heard. And it's like, wow!
Yeah.
And then, of course, Kunth goes and attacks MacGruber. Of course, MacGruber gets the upper hand, punches him out. And, we forgot this. There was, throughout the movie, MacGruber constantly threatens to cut off Kunth's dick and shove it in his mouth. That's his big thing. He keeps on saying, "I'm gonna cut off your dick and shove it in your mouth."
You never see him do that.
Right.
Like it's not like the throat ripping, but that is brought up several times.
He vows that he will end this by cutting off his dick.
There's a lot of dick stuff in this
movie.
movie.
A lot of dick stuff.
A lot of dick stuff.
Like,
a lot of offers to suck dicks.
Yeah, a lot
of there are injuries near the dicks.
This is a hard R, people.
There are threats. They were concerned this movie could be NC-17 because of the sex scenes.
Really?
Apparently. Yes, I read this. Apparently, it is related to the number of thrusts that you see on screen.
What?
I don't know what the magic number of thrusts, but you are apparently only allowed a certain number of thrusts. If there is too much thrusting, NC-17.
Hot damn. I did not know that.
So that's...
All right, so anyway, MacGruber, he bests Kunth in a fight, and of course he's like, this is the moment. I'm going to cut off your dick and shove it in your mouth. And then Kunth is like, oh, bring it on. So he takes off Kunth's pants and finds out he doesn't have genitalia anymore because it got
lost in the explosion.
And of course,
smooth like a Ken doll.
Yes, smooth as eggs. And of course, MacGruber is incensed. He's infuriated. It's like shit, and then he just ends up pushing Kunth off the cliff. Mm-hmm. And as he's falling off the cliff, he asks Piper to throw him, a gun. Piper throws him this huge AK-47 machine gun,
shoots him as he is falling down off the cliff.
Yes. And then, of course, as Kunth hits the ground dead, MacGruber shoots a rocket launcher at him.
Yes.
Blows him up. And then pees on his body.
Yes.
And
as you do.
Just urinates on him and saying, just fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
because MacGruber still has a dick.
That's right.
That's right.
He's American. That's America's dick.
he still has a dick, still able to pee on his enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, of course, after he does all that, he turns around to Vicky and says, I do. MacGruber! And then that's it.
That is the end of the movie.
And then during the credits, they show quick cuts of what happened at the wedding.
Yeah.
They show him getting a new block punked from Piper.
Yes.
And then, of course,
his new car radio.
Of course, they show him and Vicky covered in blood from the horrible events. They show Vicky, performing music at the wedding. And what was it? Oh yeah, no one likes her music. And then of course,
they're playing the music over the closing credits too.
Yeah.
And again, not good.
Not good.
It is not good.
And then it shows like the barista was bartending at the wedding.
I love that callback. And there's a shot of MacGruber at the bar. And there's a little paper plate that just says no tips, and the barista is giving him that look of hatred.
Yeah.
Again, don't have his name here. I did not get it up on IMDb,
but he was good.
Kudos to you, actor who played the barista in MacGruber.
Indeed, and then it shows, of course, the Vicky throwing the bouquet, and it's caught by the Big Show, the guy who didn't end up being on the team because he's gay, and of course shows him and his boyfriend.
So he survived.
Yeah, he survived.
He survived, not blown up by the C4 earlier in the film.
Yeah, and then he wasn't there. And it showed MacGruber and Vicky kissing at one point, and then getting into the kiss, and then of course shows them full on humping on the dance floor. And then it shows the coroner's bringing up Kunth's body through the wedding for some reason. But as they're doing that, MacGruber gets on top of the body bag that has Kunth's body, and he poops on his body bag.
Yeah, you see Will Forte just squatting on top.
Yeah, and of course, Michael Bolton's "Love Is a Wonderful Thing" is playing while all this happens.
Yeah, I mean, what else would you score it with?
Yeah, what else?
Yeah,
and that's it. That's MacGruber.
That is MacGruber.
Woo!
That is MacGruber.
Quite a movie. I wrote so many notes on this. I mean,
You did. We took a journey.
Yeah, we did. And again, when this movie came out, it was lowly. I think I got like an 11 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
It is, let's see. I have the current Rotten Tomato score. Currently, it is at 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
that's still pretty low.
It is. It's got the green asterisk symbol. So I think that still is fresh or something.
But I mean,
it doesn't say certified fresh or anything, but the green is the positive on the Rotten Tomatoes, right?
The green is bad. It's supposed to be like red.
The green is bad. No, I thought the tomatoes were bad.
No, the tomatoes are good.
The tomatoes are okay. So it's a whole tomato, but the site is called Rotten Tomatoes.
Hey man.
so if you see a tomato, is that not a bad review?
No, tomato is if it's like a green splat, that's bad.
Okay. So the negative reviews are the green splats.
Yes, the red ripe tomato is what you want.
But you usually associate green with good and red with bad, don't you?
You do.
Don't you?
Green means go, red means stop. I see what you're saying, but on here it's the reverse.
I'm just saying Rotten Tomatoes.
They play by their own
I don't know
rules.
if they're very good at their job.
Ooh. I've never heard you say that before.
No, but, I don't say it a lot, but
but yeah, I mean this movie when it came out, it was a huge bomb, and it's just now people starting to see maybe it was unfairly judged and maybe it didn't deserve the hate it got, and it totally didn't.
Because when you hurl a Rotten Tomato at something,
it means still on
you
this?
didn't like it. So why are the tomatoes the positive reviews? I just think this site has a conceptual hole at its center.
Dude, I like holes. Dude,
nice callback.
Dude, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go.
I'm just saying.
Okay, but yeah,
and these the icon for the tomatoes looks like a fresh tomato. It is not a rotten tomato. A rotten tomato is starting to go black.
For the love of Pete, dude,
I am just saying.
Frank is listening to this like, what the? Come on, wrap it up. But
happy birthday, Frank.
Yeah, happy birthday. But yeah, I mean, as far as this movie, I think it's a hilarious movie. It's one of those movies.
I feel like you like this movie.
I love this movie. I think it's. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit like the third act isn't as strong as the first two acts. It's a little bit wonkier, but it's still. I'm willing to overlook it because the first part and the middle part is so strong.
Yeah,
I think it's a great movie. It's one of those overlooked classics, underrated. Guys, check it out. Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I feel like at this point you essentially have because we went through the entire thing point by point.
Yeah, but even us talking about it doesn't do it justice. You got to watch for the sex scene alone. You got I'm gonna do it.
Frank, can we please isolate some of those sound clips and just make a super cut of those?
Please do. I'll sign over the rights to that.
We will put that on like the eventual best of episode.
Oh, mercy.
So are you good? Are you spent?
I'm fine. I'm fine. This movie brings me so much joy.
I feel like it does, yes.
It's great.
Yes.
All right, so and that's the movie, MacGruber. Go watch. Your thoughts on it? Any closing thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I liked Will Forte. I thought Ryan Phillippe. He was game. He did a nice job. I always loved seeing Powers Booth.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig, I was a little so on.
All right.
But I'm like a little so on her.
Yeah, I mean,
in general,
this was before her big hit with the Bridesmaids movie.
Yeah, this was before she broke out in Bridesmaids. So I thought her character was like a little more one note than the others. You know,
I kind of thought Val Kilmer was like as a villain.
I enjoyed Val Kilmer. I really dug Val Kilmer. I liked what he was doing. I was picking up what he was putting down.
All right, I hear you. But overall, you liked the movie. Mm-hmm. Hot dog. All right.
I mean, I would not say it's like a classic on the level of like Anchorman or something like that, but I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
All right, far. Well, I mean,
it made me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted out to our SNL nerds out there, our nerdaholics.
Oh, do they have questions? Do they have concerns? What do they have to say?
My phone froze. Hold on. But yeah, I thought I'd have it at the ready. Yeah. But we got some tweets for some folks because we told them that we were going to do this bad boy, and then they had some things to say, which I will get right now. And Frank, feel free to edit this at your leisure. Here we go. All right. Okay. All right. So then we had Monette Maradi at Monette M97 saying, "This movie and Popstar made me realize that Akiva and the other members of the Lonely Island are great at making good parody movies. Parody of genres are not prevalent anymore in films, and the Lonely Island has been able to fill that void in movies and music." And I agree.
Said fill that void. Yeah.
We are children.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like, I mean, I remember parody movies were a huge thing, like in the 80s and 90s. Naked Gun, Airplane, Hot Shots, Top Secret and all that.
Yeah.
And then I feel like they kind of went away after, I'm going to say Scary Movie.
They got very played out.
Yeah.
And you had Scary Movie, and then you had all those horrible-looking parody movies where it was like, not another such-and-so movie.
Not another teen movie, and then there was not another love story.
And I haven't bothered seeing most of those. I will admit it. But they look horrible in the previews. Because it's all just like, it's you're just making a reference to a thing.
Yeah, just like a lot of pop culture references.
And it's like whatever random thing happened that year, you're making a reference to it. It's like, oh, there was a Fantastic Four movie this year, so let's put the Pam Anderson in the Fantastic Four outfit.
Yeah, and it was like really cheap looking, like not another superhero movie. And not another epic movie. And it's just like a bunch of like Amy Winehouse jokes, and it's just like, it was really bad. So I think that kind of took it down for a bit.
Yeah.
So then after that, like this movie is like a very strong parody movie of 80s action movies.
Mm-hmm. And it's parodying a lot of the tropes. I found actually a very interesting piece on Rolling Stone from Amy Nicholson, who you might know. She's the co-host of the Unspooled podcast with...
I don't think I never heard of that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a really good podcast where they go through the 100 best movies on the AFI Top 100 list.
Far out.
And that's with, what's his name? I'm blanking on it from How Did This Get Made?
Paul Scheer?
Yeah, Paul Scheer.
Hey,
yeah.
Right.
So she co-hosts that with Paul Scheer. And she had some neat things to say about how it was kind of parroting all these tropes from the 80s where we were just like very rah and it was like getting our country's self-esteem back up after Vietnam and all that, and like this time we win, and that stuff. So look that up. It says, when MacGruber hit theaters in 2010, it was a bomb itself, the lowest-grossing SNL wide release ever. It was pulled from theaters in just 3 weeks. Parade magazine deemed it the second biggest flop of the year. With its ejectable CD players and yacht rock soundtrack, it bore an unfortunate resemblance to the other lazy retro 80s reboot that summer, The A-Team.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember The A-Team.
Critics checked out. By the way, I think The A-Team movie is underrated. I
liked it. I saw that in the theater. I was like, this is solid. But that kind of went away, too.
I enjoyed it. That is what you want an A-Team movie to be.
Yeah.
She says, audiences never even checked in. But after the smoke cleared, the film was declared a cult hit. Comedy's funny like that. The genre works on surprise. Did he really say pound some cunt? But ironically, audiences have a paranoid need to know what the joke is first, as though everyone's afraid they'll laugh in the wrong places. And in MacGruber, every joke is wrong. The whole movie is booby-trapped. Taccone refuses to cue the audience when it's safe to smile. Are we really allowed to laugh when MacGruber's homemade C4 explosives kill a van full of his friends, each just lovingly introduced in montage? Or when he uses Piper as a human shield? Or when a distraught MacGruber offers to suck the Colonel's dick to stay on the cunt case?
I will suck your dick.
Yeah.
I will
like you said before, this movie takes a lot of big swings, and it hits more than it misses.
Yeah,
very
much. I mean, and a comedy, you kind of want that. Like said before, like a lot of the movies we've watched, like Night at the Roxbury and Ladies Man and Superstar, Coneheads. A lot of them kind of played it safe. And when you do that, the movie is just like, forgettable.
A lot of these movies, because they were based on recurring sketches, we could have written most of these movies based on the trailers and come pretty close to the movies they actually made.
Yeah.
MacGruber had some surprises.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, there wasn't a lot to work with because it was just like a 1-minute sketch on the show. Yeah. But that really gave him a wide open canvas. And I like that they decided to parody the bigger tropes of action movies.
Right. Oh, and as far as parody movies go, as far as modern parody movies go, I would highly recommend you guys check out Black Dynamite, because that movie is another...
I've heard good things about Black Dynamite.
It's so good! It's like another movie that's like totally underrated. I saw that movie like 3 times in a theater.
That's a whole blaxploitation parody.
Yeah, it has Michael Jai White. Yeah, and it's like a blaxploitation parody film. It's shot like a 70s film. You look at it, you think, oh, this is from 1970 something, but it's not, because you see like Arsenio Hall's in it for a bit, Tommy Davidson, and it's a really funny Shaft parody movie, but it's done in the style of Airplane. And it's when it came out, it totally flopped. Like I saw it like 3 times in a theater. Like every time I went, there was like no more than like 5 people in the whole theater. But it's like, it kind of has a cult following now, but I think that movie is criminally underrated.
I mean, that's what's nice about the age that we're in, when I mean, it used to be if a movie bombed and it just went away, you would not see it again unless it happened to pop up on TV. But now we're in the age of like home video and streaming, and movies have a chance to be rediscovered.
Yes, like everything lives forever.
So that is nice.
Yeah, and as far as parody goes, I don't know if you ever watched the show Angie Tribeca? It was on TBS.
Oh, I loved Angie Tribeca.
Yeah, another TV show was like very underrated. Is executive produced by Steve Carell and his wife Nancy, and it was done in the style of like Police Squad meets like CSI, and like it was like a parody of all those like CBS cop shows.
And starred Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones with the head was like the head with Angie Tribeca.
Yeah,
and it was very like if you like Airplane and the Naked Gun, you'd like Angie.
And it had Devon Cole.
Deon Cole.
Deon Cole.
Deon Cole was in it. It had like a bunch of like cameos in it. Like Adam Scott was in it for a minute.
Jerry Burns
was in it. James Franco was in it for an episode.
A lot of cool cameos. Very funny. I've seen them do like a few marathons on I think TBS or something like that. I think it was on TBS that it aired. But
if you're a fan of like Police Squad and that type of humor, I highly recommend you watch Angie Tribeca.
That is a good show too.
Right, absolutely. All right, so as far as tweets we've also gotten another tweet from the good people at Decomposition Podcast saying,
our friends. We just saw them on Friday night.
We
went to a live event. You performed at the live event.
I did. It was great. Check it out. Decomposition Podcast. Give them a listen. They're dope folks.
Darren has been on that podcast 3 times.
I got the turkey.
Gobble. I have not yet been on the podcast. They tell me I'm going to be on.
You're gonna do it.
They tell me.
You're going to knock it out the park, man.
You've been on 3 times.
Yes, 3 times. Okay. I got the jacket and everything.
All right.
But they said, this movie is the reason that I always make sure to tip at a coffee shop. As you should do.
Yeah.
And Casey Killingsworth tweeted us at Killingsworth27 I attended a free screening of this movie right before it came out with Will Forte, Ryan Phillippe, Brian Tucker, John Solomon, and Jorma Taccone. So Casey doing a little bragging right there.
Yeah, it's a little name drop in there.
Yeah, Casey's in the know.
Actually, that reminds me, like I watched the movie and then I watched the movie with the commentary. There's also an unrated version on the DVD. I have not watched the unrated version.
I can only imagine.
So I don't know how that is different. You don't have the unrated version?
I got it too.
Oh, okay. So you've not ever watched the unrated version?
No, I'll give it a look before I return it to the library.
Oh, I'm surprised. I was assuming that was the copy you own because you talk this movie up so much.
You know what? I should own it. I should just bite the bullet. And
all right. Well,
thanks to the people at the Montclair Public Library.
Yes. And thank you for the people at the Parsippany Public Library. Basically, thank you for people in the New Jersey public library system.
Thank you, libraries.
We could not have done this summer movie marathon without you because 9 times out of 10 we were getting these movies out of the library.
You're the real heroes.
You are.
And we also got a tweet from Rai Magara saying, this movie is so insane, but I love it. I really wanted a sequel. And I think it's one of those things where now that it's got like a cult following, they were talking sequel, but actually it looks more like they'll be making this into a TV series.
There's a story I just found just before we started recording from IndieWire from March of this year, where Will Forte is saying he wrote a filthy television sequel to MacGruber, but it won't go to network TV.
Wow. Streaming service it is.
Yeah. Well, apparently they are still trying to make that happen.
All right.
Even though this movie did not make anyone any money. But and usually when you don't make money, they don't let you make sequels to things. But
what?
I mean, we're in an age where
there are other avenues to find. Yeah, I mean, again, like Black Dynamite didn't make money, but it has a cult following.
Yeah,
and they made an animated series out of it on Adult Swim.
Yeah, I mean, that's another nice thing about today's media age is like if you have a devoted enough audience, like a small but devoted audience, sometimes you can still get sequels or continuations to happen.
And I think Jorma Taccone tweeted out on Instagram or something saying he was working on like a sequel and working on like a TV.
So it might still happen.
It might still happen.
There's another little bit of trivia I found about this on the IMDb. This I love. Lee David Zlotloff, creator of the TV series MacGyver, felt that his legal right to make a film version of his series was compromised with the release of MacGruber. His lawyer sent several cease and desist letters to the production company and met with litigators, though ultimately no legal action was taken.
Ooh.
So, okay, First off, I love MacGyver. Apparently debuted in 1985, so it was even earlier than I was saying before.
Right.
But I love that this guy in 2010 was like, no, the window of opportunity for a MacGyver movie has not yet passed.
Wow. I mean, because
it had been 35 years, and he's like, no, I'm still going to make this happen.
See, I would laugh at that, thinking it's ridiculous, but then I remembered, oh, wait, didn't they reboot the TV show MacGyver on CBS?
They did, and it died a quick and horrible death.
So, based on that, he was like, maybe they want a movie.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that is very optimistic, I will say that.
Very
optimistic. He was like, no, this MacGyver movie, that's still going to happen.
Just biding my time, baby. Just biding my time. All right, so and that's it. That's the movie.
That is the movie.
We both highly recommend it. We think you guys should check it out. So all right. So at this point,
wait.
There's more. What?
No, I just found another bit of trivia, and I would kick myself if I didn't put this in the podcast.
All right.
Okay, listen to this. Val Kilmer and Will Forte almost ended up being on CBS's hit series The Amazing Race because of this film.
Wait, what?
Where they became good friends. Kilmer later stayed at Forte's house for a few months while searching for a new LA-based home for himself.
He crashed on his couch?
And, well, it doesn't say on his couch. I'm assuming Will Forte is doing well enough to have a guest room.
Futon?
Whatever. I don't know the whole home arrangement of Will Forte's
How much is
house
Will Forte worth? Look it up.
And Forte, a huge fan of The Amazing Race, introduced Kilmer to the show. They were about to apply as a team when their other work commitments led to the idea being dropped. I have never watched The Amazing Race,
Neither
but
have I.
I would watch that in a split second.
That's
Will Forte and Val Kilmer traveling the world together.
Having adventures,
fighting crime. I'm assuming you fight crime in The Amazing Race?
Of course,
That's what you do as you're going around the world, right?
In your A-Team van.
Right, you're right. You rip out throats. And,
rip out throats to celery up your ass.
Right. I mean, that's what The Amazing Race is.
That's the American dream.
I would watch the shit out of that show.
Wowzers.
Come on. Will Forte and Val Kilmer traveling around the world. That's a show in itself. Don't even have other contestants.
Yeah.
Just give those two a reality show. Come on.
Criminy. That's just a thing of beauty. Wow. All right. So what could have been?
What could have been? Just a single tear coming down my cheek right now.
Oh, dear. All right. So, that's MacGruber. And so, as you may have realized, we just reviewed all the SNL movies based off
all the official spin-offs.
Right.
Every SNL movie that's been made that's been based on a sketch from the show.
And now maybe many of you are thinking, well, SNL nerds, what are you guys going to do now? Because the SNL new season hasn't started yet.
Not back yet.
So are you guys going to not do episodes?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Is this podcast over? Are we done?
It is never.
Are we done?
It is never over. This train stops for no one.
Yes.
We will be doing more movie reviews until, of course, the new season starts up. Do you want to say what?
Let's plug the next week.
Let's do it.
We've decided we're gonna expand the definition a bit. We're gonna do some notable movies from SNL cast members.
Yeah.
So we decided to start with one of the earliest, one of the greatest, and it.
Do you want me to say it? What are you looking at me for?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can say it.
A little film called National Lampoon's Animal House.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Yeah. So
John Belushi.
Other white guys.
Wow.
Am I wrong? I wrong?
Kind of racist.
What? I'm not wrong.
No, there are other white people in this movie.
Well, then there you go. There's some black people in there too.
Okay,
you make me want to shout.
Would you like it if I identified like one of the movies we were doing as starring this person and other black guys?
No, that's racist.
That would be a bad look.
That's
right?
a problem.
Okay,
that's racist. What I said was just accurate. And that's how racism works.
All right. Well, we will unpack this more next week. But we are gonna be covering National Lampoon's Animal House. We're looking forward to that. We're fans of that movie.
It's going to be a doozy.
In the meantime,
The in-between time.
In the in-between time, when you are not listening to this podcast, because this podcast is going to end at some point.
Yeah, this is a long one.
This is a long one.
I don't even have to look. I just know.
No, it is a long one. In the meantime, you can follow us on the social media.
Yes.
We are on the Twitter.
Yes.
At SNL Nerd Show. We are both also individually on the Twitter and the social media.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible. If you're in Montclair, New Jersey, this Wednesday, August 14th, I'll be doing some comedy at the Comedy and Prozac show. It's a comedy show at an art gallery. Yeah. I just got booked a couple days ago at the Claire Story Fine Art Gallery on Church Street. I'll be there Wednesday. $10 cover BYOB.
Okay.
And Thursday, August. Yeah. Why did I write April? What the hell is happening to my brain?
You're not very good at your job.
I'm not very good at my job. Except when I do comedy. That's great.
Yeah.
So come out.
Kills every time.
Yeah. So Thursday, August 29th, I'll be at the Top House 15 in Jefferson, New Jersey, hosting the Verbal Shenanigans Comedy Show. Joan Weiss-Blatt, Scott Brennan, Aaron McGuire, headlined by Mark Riccadonna. I'm hosting the joint. Come through to that. It's gonna be a hot time in the old town tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
And you can also follow me on the Twitter at Trumbull Comic. And that's it. I don't have shows to plug this week, but
you will.
I will at some point. Yes.
And of course, you can always listen to us at Non-Productive.com. Listen to our other shows. Side Adventures, which is the actual play D&D podcast, the Honeymooners podcast about the TV show The Honeymooners.
Our friend Natty Bumpercar, who is on this show just a couple weeks ago talking about Superstar with us, he has just started up a podcast about Big Brother.
Yes, called The Other Big Brother.
Yes.
So give that a listen, give that a rate.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed Natty on the show, check him out there.
Yeah. He goes by Shelby Quinn, I think, on that podcast. I don't know.
Did I just blow his secret identity?
Son of us. Yeah. Is it Natty Bumpercar? Maybe it's not Natty Bumpercar. Maybe we're just lying to throw you off the scent.
That's right.
If it sounds like Natty Bumpercar, maybe it's not. Maybe it's your mind playing tricks on you.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So anyway, we're going to work this all out.
I was trying to lighten the mood. I think I did it. Oh, yeah. Oh.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.